This is Show versus Business, where pop culture meets pop money with your hosts, the real Theo Harvey and Mr. Benja. So, Mr. Benja, what's going on today?
Oh man, things are going on all over the place, but the only place you really get what's really going on and what's really good is here on Show versus Business. So this week we got a couple things that went down. Disney's earning call came out. Some people went nuts in the streets. Some people are losing their minds because Disney's actually talking about making money. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Even with their subscriber countdown, we're going to get into that. And the great sports rebundling. Listen, sports is big, and we've been talking about how it's been moving around from Amazon to Warner to Fox to all these people. So now we're going to find out what's really going on. Theo's going to be spearheading that one because I don't watch sports. And then we've got Ryan Coogler coming in here. He wants ownership of his next movie. This is a good play. Sounds really good, especially happening during Black History Month and Black Batman Week at the same time. It's incredible. So we've got a verified superhero out here taking ownership of movies. Sounds crazy, but it's happening. Shout out to Ryan Coogler. And for our podcasting update, I said that it's like it's a regular thing, but it's not. We just have so much here that we're going to go ahead and update a little bit of what's going on. And we're podcasters, so there we go. Also, some social media shenanigans. Tucker Carlson's acting up. Kanye West is acting up. Monique and Shannon Sharp are acting up. And Walmart's acting up, apparently. And Snoop Dogg and Master P had to call him out. So that's that, and we may also have some random bits in there to throw in and keep it a juicy show. Theo, how does all that sound?
Man, that sounds wonderful. Mr. Benja, man, I'm not the gamer of this two-person crew here. I know enough to be dangerous, right? I go do my little reviews on IGN. It's, oh, it sounds like a good game to play. Don't ever play it, but sounds good. Man, I read down this rabbit hole, Mr. Benja. I actually watched all the cutscenes for the Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. Mr. Benja, have you heard about this game?
Glad that you're bringing this up for Black Batman week, but no, I haven't actually really followed this game that much at all. I usually wait a little while to see if it gets past the fanboy stage and people dig it, and then I say, okay, it must be a good game. But no, I haven't checked this one out.
Mr. Benja, you probably know more than me. It's the same studio that did Batman Arkham Asylum.
Asylum, yes,
Yep.
that's the one.
And the Rocksteady, is that the name of the group? Is that the name of the
Yes,
studio? Yep, Rocksteady. So, see, I'm not as well versed in the video game world, but I'm getting there. A lovely, we give her a shout out all the time on this pod, Grace, beyond the trailer. She did a whole review of the cutscenes for Justice League. Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. And I was like, what? What? And I heard so many things rumbling about this and people hated it and all this other crap. I said, okay, let me go watch this. Let me watch the cutscene. Now, mind you, it's 3 hours
yeah,
of gameplay, some gameplay with a couple of acting between
yeah.
with the cutscene. Very weird way to watch, spend 3 hours. But hey, it was on a long drive. Why not? Just listen in. So anyway, high level, Mr. Benja, this game is very controversial because yes, it features a Suicide Squad, but I guess I can spoil it a little bit. They actually kill the Justice League. The premise is that Brainiac is taken over Metropolis and he's brainwashed all of the Justice League. And so Suicide Squad is tasked, or Task Force X, they're commonly known, by Amanda Waller to go after and kill each one of the Justice League members. And I gotta say, man, it has some moments there. I was impressed. It had me interested, intrigued. I went down the rabbit hole looking at that and seeing the villains actually won for a chance and what would that look like. But yeah, pretty comical. Some Batman, evil Batman was pretty good. I gotta admit, everybody else was okay. Even Superman wasn't that great. The evil Superman didn't really kick it off for me, but evil Batman, when he's no holds barred, man, they it actually became a horror film. It was funny how you have different levels when you play video games. The
Yeah.
Batman level basically became. It was weird how they did it, and she said, check out the cut scene. Batman, basically a hologram of Batman, gives a pep talk about being a team and how you can win together as a team, and then it slowly devolves into the evil Batman. Okay, enough of that. I'm going to tell you the real Batman experience. And he just
All
goes
right.
ham on them. So anyway, long story short, man, I never watched something like that before on that level, but it's intriguing. I don't know if you watched Injustice. Do you ever read that comic book Injustice or heard about
Yeah,
that
yeah.
by Tom King? Very
Mhm.
similar premise. This and Injustice. Tom King, the writer, had Superman go crazy, right? He started killing off the Joker, and then him and Batman squared off. It was just if the Justice League stopped effing around, went down
Yeah.
to business. Really enjoyed it, man. So anyway, go check it out if you haven't gone down that path yet, the cutscene path.
No, I watched cutscenes of, games before in their entirety, and it's funny, for games that I don't really wanna play, but I wanna be in the mix of, I'll sit there and watch them, and sometimes I stop, sometimes they keep going. Yeah, they're definitely hit or miss. A lot of and you gotta remember it, they're not trying to condense the story, they're trying to interweave with the game, so that makes sense why it's 3 hours, it doesn't need to be that long for the story, but
Do you recommend any cuts? Another one I saw bits and pieces was what's it called? The Last of Us. Just saw bits and pieces
oh, sure.
before
Mhm.
I went in on the TV show. But do you recommend other video game cutscenes I should watch on YouTube now? Now that
Yeah,
I'm a watcher.
the God of War series, you can jump in anywhere after actually, any of them should be pretty entertaining, but the most recent ones, God of War 3 and God of War Ragnarok, those are good ones,
Okay. I'll take your recommendation, Mr. Benja. I love it. I love it.
if
And
you're
one
into that
last
sort
thing.
of thing.
Yeah, I guess I am now. That's my thing. Look, we all know there's not going to be a lot of movies and TV shows
Yeah,
for the next couple of months, so I gotta watch. I'm literally like, I'm like, man, I have not seen anything. Oh, you know what? This is my reviews. I used to go into a few things I saw. I did watch Mrs. Smith. I don't know if you heard about that, the Donald Glover joint that he produced on Amazon. I don't know if you checked it out, but
I
go
have
give it
no
a
idea.
yeah, go give it a whirl. That's my high level recommendation. It's definitely nothing like the Brad Pitt Angelina Jolie joint that came out. The controversy for that movie was that's where they fell in love and became married at that point. But the premise I thought was interesting. As someone who is married, marriage is a war, and sometimes you don't know everything about your spouse. The two people come together who are killers. What does that look like? And so it's interesting to see this is Donald Glover's take, so it's more grounded. And these people being almost anybody, right? Him and I think the young lady is Myra Erskine. Yeah, she is plays his wife in this role, Mrs. Smith. And so there are international killers slash spies. And so what is it? Comedy ensues, if you will, right? And so
Yeah,
it's yeah, go check it out. Give me maybe we'll do a little deep dive and then what's Donald Glover doing? It's interesting. He did this, he did Swarm, which was that kind of pseudo Beyonce thing that he did. So his post Atlanta journey is interesting. He's doing his own thing, but I don't know if it's really hitting that zeitgeist like he did with Atlanta. So it'll be
right.
interesting to see what he does in the next couple of years to get back on top. But yeah.
Need to quit playing and hook up with Monkey Paw.
What? Oh, Jordan
Yeah,
Peele. Yeah, you're right.
exactly.
He said right. Yeah. I don't think he's really a horror guy per se, but I don't know. It could. Hey, well, maybe he, Monkey Paw, Donald Glover, Monkey Paw, Jordan Peele, and Ryan Coogler just become Voltron. Voltron it.
Oh, wait, and they could do it for Marvel and the no, we don't wanna do it for Marvel. We take that back. We're gonna get Kevin Feige out of the way, bring Kevin Hart in, and do it
Oh,
for Black Sands Entertainment, and pick up one of Manuel Godoy's stories that's been blowing up the underground internet scene. What you know about Black Sands Entertainment and Kevin Hart Productions and Ryan Coogler and yeah, man, that's Voltron.
oh man, I love it. I love it. Black History Month. Let's go.
That's right. That's right.
What you got?
So yeah, man, I've been working on the site and everything, and we always talk about the 80-20 and the one thing that you're trying to focus on and knock out. And it keeps moving that target because the more you put in something, you're like, oh, wait a minute, hold on. This needs a little more focus. Otherwise, the whole operation isn't moving as it should. So I'm doing something and I'm like, okay, the site's up, site's fine. Okay, now what'll be the next thing that really gets me to that next step? The next logical step, as some people call it. And it turns out it's getting a perfect sleep routine in. I noticed if I'm doing creative stuff, like purely just pulling weird concepts out and organizing thoughts and just then the chaos works for me. But what I'm trying to do right now, I'm like, I need that perfect routine. Just wake up, turn this on, do that, boom, boom. I was like, I wonder how juicy I can get with this routine. Yeah, I'm talking like I want to get back to the level where I don't need an alarm, and I still wake up at the perfect time every day. I had that going for a very short period of time. No alarm, went to sleep at the exact same time, woke up. I call it robot mode, actually. I actually have a name for it. When I get into robot mode, just get in there. It's crazy.
Complete with the sounds.
No, but it's interesting that something that's not directly related to my task has become my one thing. Because if I get this right, then I can cause everything else to flow systematically. It's my mom was always just say, "Hey, listen, eat your breakfast, get your shoes on." And she knew if I got that far, she could just toss me in the car and take me to school. Everything else didn't matter. Just listen, I don't care if you did your homework. I don't care if you're still playing video games. We can leave the TV on all day while you're at school. Nothing else matters except eating breakfast and getting your shoes on. And
I
magically,
love it.
things fell into place. I'm finding that out now, all these years later. I'm like, okay, if I get here, eat, brush teeth, make it to bed by this time, don't F around with that. I'll have a good sleep. I'll wake up. I can bang out again. Robot mode.
I love it, Mr. Pincher. I love it. Keep roboting it, brother. Get out there in these streets, man. Get it done. I love it.
Right. Helps the podcast too.
Definitely.
All right. You ready to get into this action?
Like, do it.
I didn't get a chance to watch this one, but the Disney earnings call came up and I found a quote in there that I didn't put in here, but they said they were happy. The people were happy, stockholders were happy, some of the investors, because Disney said they're going to be making money this time. And it just had me laughing. Yes, guys, hold on. Stop. Everybody stop. What's going on? Investors, we'd like to let you know we're going to make money. It's like cheers erupted apparently in the room. I got to go find that quote. But do you have an overview of this whole earnings call? Because I saw the
Yeah,
quote.
sure. Yeah, yeah. High level. Yes. The whole premise of business is to make money, guys. You don't lose money.
Right, kids.
Show versus business. Yeah.
Write it down, kids.
The basic ones is don't lose money. Oh man, you got Iger, man. He's such a showman. He's just he's coming in. But look, he's got big fights. We talked about this a couple of times. He's fighting off activists, investors, Nelson Peltz and Ike Perlmutter. I think we talked about who Ike is. He was the previous CEO of Marvel, who famously said black superheroes don't work, basically, and then went to a Black Panther movie. Has just been against Marvel all this time. So he's coming back, trying to attack. So basically, these guys are trying to get board seats on Disney's board so they can, control the direction because they feel like it's not going the right direction, which, they're not wrong. The stock has been beat down. And then also on the personal front, well, not personal, but basically it is a personal kind of offense where, Gina Carino, who was fired from The Mandalorian, as a backer, she's basically suing Disney for firing her from The Mandalorian. And her backer is none other than Elon Musk, who famously basically said, F Disney because they're not trying to advertise on Twitter anymore or X. So yeah. And then we didn't talk about shenanigans with Ron DeSantis. So basically Disney's getting hit in all these different directions. So Iger had to kill him with the big guns doing
Right.
doing this last earnings announcements. I'm just gonna read through these real quick and then we can discuss do we think that's gonna help Disney or not. So one of the big things you can get insight into this, Mr. Benja, they're investing 1.5 billion for B dollars into Fortnite.
Bizzle.
The basically the game studio, I think Epic Games that
Mhm.
created Fortnite. Mr. Benja, I know we're going to talk about all of them, but let's talk about all of them first, then we'll get into each one. So that's the big one, right? And we'll talk about that in a second. They're paying $75 million directly to Taylor Swift just to exclusively stream her Eras tour that just basically tore all the records and concert. He had a movie that tore records up, and now they're the exclusive streaming place for the Eras tour. So Taylor Swift, keep on winning. Moana, Moana 2 is fast tracked to a November release, which it was funny because it was originally a TV show, but Disney said, bump that. We're going to have an animated show, animated movie coming out around Thanksgiving. So bump all that TV show mess. And they said they're going to invest $60 billion into this Disney parks which is huge. And there's rumors that there's going to be another part coming out. And last but not least, we'll talk about it a little bit later, but they announced a sports streaming service with Fox and Warner Brothers Discovery that's supposed to set amazingly this year. That was huge news. So we'll probably talk about that later. But Mr. Benja, is this enough to get you excited about Disney again?
Nothing gets me excited more than not talking about Disney. Disney, man, I told you. Once they did that Hulu integration and messed up all my shows and my show order, I'm like, ugh, I can't stand you now. It's just, and then they keep putting up little messages. I'm sorry, hold on, this isn't. I'm like, ugh, whatever. Done with Hulu. I'll never get my old Hulu back. Actually, I don't know. If you sign up to Hulu alone by itself right now, do you get a weird kind of Disney-esque front end that only has Hulu? You do?
Yeah, I just did that recently because I wanted to watch an old show. And I said, "Oh, I guess I got to resubscribe to Hulu again." And it does give me that Disney funkiness, but it still remembered me. It remembered all my
Mm,
shows and stuff.
okay.
So I don't know. And I also have Disney Plus. It's still somewhat separate.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, so it was causing problem. Anyway, yeah, Disney, it's just the big house of dumb to me. All the decisions they make, I'm just like, why? I hate you. In fact, I want to talk about games really quickly since we were talking about God of War and Suicide Squad Killers Justice League a little while ago. They actually are getting back into games as well. That was also mentioned in there. They're spending all this money on games. But if you remember, they were on a game killing spree a while ago. After they got rid of LucasArts, which made all the Lucas games that a lot of them people love, Shadows of the Empire, Dark Forces, TIE Fighter, those are back in the day. But even recently, they were just killing off a lot of the game studios and game action. They had this big, huge open world kind of thing called Disney Infinity. It was huge, and people were like, "Hey, why'd you kill it?" Shrug. Now it's like they're bringing it back. So that's a problem. But the thing that caught my eye was that Fortnite purchase. Now, Fortnite is made
Not
by
purchase, and they're just
purchase. Oh, sorry. I'm
investing.
sorry. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I get it
I
clear.
didn't mean to say
They're
purchase.
not going to have control over it, but they're going to have a say. I
Yes,
say so.
putting 1.5 bizzle into it. That is a move that connects in a way that I hadn't seen a lot of people talk about. Epic Games not just makes Fortnite, they make the technology that runs Fortnite, which is called the Unreal Engine. The Unreal Engine
Mm.
is what a lot of people are using in Hollywood to run their three-dimensional backgrounds, especially the dome that you've heard about in all the
You
Disney
mean
shows.
the volume? Is
The
that what it's
volume, is it
called?
called the volume? The dome that they
Yeah, the
use.
volume.
I
Yeah,
was just generically saying the dome that they use. The volume. The volume. Yeah, the technology that runs the volume is made by Epic. So that all ties in back to that. I'm thinking, okay, good. You're going more into that direction. I assume whenever these companies are bought, they always look at the technology stack, the available tools that company has, not just what they have, but who they have and those particular technologies and skills that come along with the company itself. And I couldn't help but notice that, yeah, getting a hold onto that Unreal technology at that level means you can stop and say, "Hey, you know what? We're making a movie like this. Instead of making our movie fit the parameters of your software, we're going to need your software to fit the parameters of this movie we have in mind." And so you can start tilting the scales and how stuff is developed. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Wow, man, that's a hot take. I haven't heard that one before. I didn't know that they made. I heard about the Unreal Engine, but I didn't know that was also the same software for the volume, which blows my mind because that's strategic trickery, if you will, 101. You're doing two things at once because the angle I saw or read about buying Fortnite or not buying, but investing
Mhm.
in Fortnite was IP. So now, as we all know, Fortnite's famous for all the skins you can wear and the different items you can collect, and just it's this whole little universe where people are still jamming out, and you can put all kinds of interesting characters together. So who has a lot of characters? Disney. So the angle was that they can start impacting and creating a better experience in Fortnite with their characters and their kind of lived in experiences and stuff, so people can live in that environment. So what you're saying is this a twofer, right? So now you have this environment where you can create all these different characters, inject your characters into it to make Fortnite even better and more want people to like if you want to live in Iron Man's penthouse or hang
Yeah.
with the Avengers. You can do that now in Fortnite, or will be able to do that, I'm assuming. So that makes it valuable. But the technology, to your point, makes it valuable for the real world to create more imaginative movies. And so that's strategy. You make a move and it gives you two things at the same time. I think you're a
Yeah.
chess player, Mr. Benja. That's always fun, right?
Yeah. No, it's a great move in that respect because people weren't sure about Epic's Unreal Engine at the time, but The Mandalorian was based on that technology, the Unreal 4 engine. So they came in there, proved that it could work, and have been probably investigating and investing a lot of time into the Unreal Engine since that point. And now they're like, you know what? Let's push this to the next level, whatever that is. A lot of behind the scenes plays, definitely. And like you said, Fortnite is not just a game anymore. It's becoming a sort of a game platform along the lines of Grand Theft Auto. It's not just getting online and playing Grand Theft Auto. You may only jump on GTA online to do the races and get paid for racing. That may be all you do because you just like the racing aspect of it. So I see that as happening with Fortnite, where Disney comes in, dropping all their Disney characters into some sort of Fortnite something. Fortnite's always
Mhm.
doing weird stuff, but yeah, there's even the Travis Scott concert. You're talking about concerts earlier with Taylor Swift. You remember the story we had about the Travis Scott concert in
Mhm.
Fortnite. Oh my gosh, slap a Apple Vision Pro on that joint, it'll be up in 3D, looking at Elsa and Moana spinning around, talking about snow and sun and whatever nonsense. It'll be awesome, but I
Yeah,
won't
man.
watch
So
it.
it's because you hate Disney. I get it. I get it. The only thing I want to just double click on real quick was the $60 billion invested in Disney parks. I live in Orlando, and I decided to re up one more year on my Disney Orlando annual passes. So, I guess I'm a sucker for it. I just want to see if they do anything different. As an annual pass holder for Disney,
Mhm.
that goes to these parks a lot. Yeah, they don't do a lot, man. We go pretty consistently, almost like once a month. You realize, man, ain't nothing changing. That they're going to do this. And I think they're forced to because here in Orlando, they already did it in LA, in California. Universal Studios is creating Epic World, or I think that's what it's called. And they're going to have Mario
Mhm.
World there and then they're enhancing that Harry Park kind of park areas, Harry Potter experience there, at Universal Studios. So Disney got to step it up, man. They're not the big game in Orlando anymore. And so I think this is going to go a long way toward hopefully, and be honest with you, that's one of their few growth engines. We know they're losing money on streaming. So parks, experiences, these cruise lines they do, that's
Mhm.
where they're getting a lot of money now. And so I think they have to put more money into this experiences. So we'll see what that means. But they go ahead and bite the bullet, man. Go ahead and just make them. I guess Universal had some rights on that with the superhero stuff, but they need to go ahead and make it like a little Marvel world or something, man. Get people hype again because they ain't hitting on nothing right now, man. Like I just have on one hand, two rides that are pretty decent right now, Disney World. We'll see.
I would be intrigued if they make an adult Hell's Kitchen kind of resort where you're walking around Daredevil and Luke Cage and everybody, just this grimy resort.
Oh man, there's rumors that Disney adults, right? That's the big thing, right? That's the people hate Disney adults, and
Uh,
there's rumors that they like to hang out. Or if you've never been to Epcot, they like to sit there and drink. There's a lot of places, pubs and stuff
mhm.
around the Epcot where you can drink. They have this one little trash can that they sit and hang out at, and they were mad that Disney got rid of that. So Disney adults strike
Oh,
again. And then also, there's been rumors that there is a Disney website. There's a Disney swingers club. Basically, swingers are people who like to, let's say, partake in other partners' experiences, not their wife or their husband. And so, like I said, Disney adults, man, I would be not be surprised if Disney creates an adult only theme experience because why not? They're doing gambling. Why not? Disney,
eh,
go all
now
in, go
n
hardcore.
now streaming on your resort box, Pam and Tommy.
Oh, there you go. I have to Disney Plus because now they have Hulu integrated and they got more mature offerings. I have to put a passcode on my Disney Plus login. So my
Yeah,
kids have their own way to get in. I have my own way to get in, and I have to use a passcode. So I'm telling you guys, Disney After Dark is coming soon. Watch it.
dad. Oh, last point on this. I just wanted to read from Variety here when they were talking about the Disney stock rise after Wall Street rallying around it and Iger making moves. There was a quote in there that was pretty good to me. So, and there was detail on the call that in particular caught analysis attention. For the first time, Disney stated that its long-term objective is to reach double-digit profit margins in its streaming biz, which has been narrowing its losses, and exec said is on track to hit profitability by fiscal in 2024. That came after Peltz's Tryon Fund Management was waging a battle against Disney board members. He called the media conglomerate to target and achieve Netflix-like margins by 2027. So management fund says, "Hey, we want money," and Disney was like, "We got you, bro." I guess so. I guess that's how it works.
Yeah, like I said, Iger is only doing this because his legacy is at stake. If Disney falls apart, it's on his watch again. His all that book he wrote that says, "Oh, Ride of a Lifetime, Disney's great." You might as well throw it in the trash. So that's number one. And number two, he's getting a lot of pressure to make moves. So we'll see, man. We'll do our continued Disney outlook over the next couple of months, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Now we got the great sports rebundling. Sports. We've been talking about it a while back. Amazon getting what's interesting. I didn't realize how well branded this stuff was until I saw this TikTok of some videos going by. It was like it just looked like a sports video at first, but then I realized what they were doing. They were playing all the different theme songs from the different sports shows. Monday Night Football, Football on Fox, and all the different shows have their different classic theme songs. I didn't realize how ingrained that was in me, even though I dropped out of sports back in it's like high school. I started slowing down on my sports.
Dropped out of sports. Mr. Benjamin, were you on the path to D1 school status? What happened? You waiting to the pros? You had an ankle injury? What happened?
Nah, man, I got out of flag football and they were like, "Hey, you're gonna go play junior football, JV, you gonna try to get for that?" And I'm like, "Look, man, I did the flag football thing. It's okay, but I don't know. There's this chess club over here, and there's the mathletes. I don't even like the mathletes, but they seem to hang around a lot, not have to go to class."
Nerd. But
I
you
was
know
doing
what? I was a secret nerd, man, because I would go to in the morning, I had to get it super early. I don't know, my parents made me do this, but to learn ham radio, you remember how to learn Morse code and learn how to do that? So that was like real nerdy thing. I wanted to get advanced in algebra. So I took a class in algebra over the summer. So I can be in geometry, eighth grade, nerd stuff. But then I was always the basketball and track guy, right? So I would play
yeah.
basketball all the time and played on for the high school team. It's weird, man. Yeah, it was a good. I was like that secret nerd. Turn around. Here's my book. So anyway, totally understand. Yeah. Did you want to get into this real quick? Let's see. Sports, man. Look. The reason why this is so hype, Mr. Benjamin. Maybe you need to get a little bit into it because man, sports is pretty much the only live thing that we all agree on now. And football, as we know, with the whole Taylor Swift thing, shenanigans, is becoming bigger and bigger now. And if NBA is getting bigger, they're trying, and all these streaming shows, streaming companies are trying to get more sports platforms. And another big thing driving this is betting. These young folks are betting more on sports. So I see why sports is becoming the last great entertainment space for all of us. And then don't get me started on all the shenanigans going on with just the sportscasters and the every sport guy. We talk about Shannon Sharp, Shay. They have their own podcast now, and they're talking about each other, getting messy. And we saw Stephen A. go off on another sports podcaster. So it's becoming this whole big thing, becoming like our big ecosystem of entertainment. I'm making a case for show versus business to talk a little bit more about sports, Mr. Benja. So that's why I went on that tirade. That was my little mini rant for you. Rant for one. So anyway,
I'm down with it.
let's discuss. So Disney, Warner Brothers Discovery, and Fox just announced they are launching a joint streaming service this fall, a move that will potentially create a must-have bundle for sports fans. Here's what we know: the three companies will each own one third of the new product, which is being built from the ground up, and will include access to all the content that airs sports, such as ESPN, TNT, FS1, ABC, Fox, and others. So that's including NFL, NBA, March Madness, Major League Baseball, pretty much all the sports, except for those that show up on CBS and NBC. This is very reminiscent of what happened to Hulu when they came together and bought a bunch of folks together. It was very similar kind of strategy. Warner Bros. Discovery, Max, HBO, Disney, we know about them,
Yeah.
and Fox. They couldn't agree on how best to use the platform and what is going to happen next. But we'll see if they move as fast as they say for this platform, which they're trying to launch in the fall. We'll see. So, Mr. Benja, the question I have for you is how much would you pay for a service like this?
Where are my Chick-fil-A vouchers? I think I got 6 of those I can trade in for a month or less. Uh,
It's
no,
intriguing. Go ahead. You had a thought on that?
yeah, actually, I would pay no, honestly, if I was looking into the service and I really wanted it, right off the bat, I would say for a basic intro, I'd pay 49.99. Um,
Wow. Okay.
yeah, if they were like, "Hey, listen, we got sports plus, get it. Here's what," and they're like, "Here's the basics." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, wow, that's a lot of sports. I watched NBA, NFL. Boom, I'm down for it. How much? $50. All right. If you make it a sweet package where you're not messing around with some stupid ass Disney Plus AI UI, I'm sorry, user interface, then I'm for that. But yeah, $50 I'd pay.
Interesting. Yeah, because that's the rumor. They're trying to figure out what's the best price point for consumers now, right? Let's be honest. Yeah, I'm paying what, $13 a month or so for Disney Plus. Hulu, when I turn it on, another $11 here. I'm sure that's gonna be bundled. So what other stuff do I have to, buy in order to have it? And basically what we're doing is creating another cable bundle, right? Because the traditional cable is
Mhm.
dying. People don't want to pay that $200 anymore, whatever it was. And so now they're trying to create another bundle, which is called streaming, right? And so it's funny to me. But the rumor is, I think I was listening to some podcasts and they're saying 49.99 seems expensive. And it does to me too, to have, because you got to think all these sports are on at the same time, and they're trying to make some sports a big thing like pickleball or spring football. So you can,
Yeah.
oh man, there's always sports to watch. But really, let's be honest, it's football, playoff basketball, maybe in season basketball, some MLB games if you like that team. And what's the other one? We're not going to get wrestling on that. So I think the other big one would be, yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Maybe about 5 times a year, a big all March Madness. 5 times a year is the only time it's like really big for sports. And so I don't know, man. I think that I'm looking at somewhere around like $25 per month. And
Mhm.
because you got to think, you still got to get CBS and NBC, which have NFL packages. So you're not going to see all the sports. So that's going to be disheartening. So,
Oh,
but this,
that's what I was wondering about. Where do you start adding on with, hey, if you pay this much, you'll get the CBS branded extra shows, or and it starts to get messy because it is all over the place with all these sports. And it doesn't have soccer. Is that what I'm hearing?
yeah, that's a rumor. Don't know, be honest with you. I don't, TNT has some soccer, I thought, and FS1 does. But yeah, you tell me, I don't know how popular in the world. Yes, it's very popular. Here in the States, I don't know.
Out here and when I was in San Diego, it was pretty doggone big. There were days where you would just be going about your thing. You're like, "Hey, where is everybody?" And they're like, "Oh, they're getting ready to watch the game." And I'm like, "Wait, it's 7 o'clock at night. We're all just hanging out. What do you mean getting ready to watch the game?" They got to go to sleep, take a nap because they're going to get up, watch the game overseas. And it's a whole thing that extends into the morning. So people are watching some overseas game early in the morning and then drinking during the day. And it's a whole thing. But I went to a house full of people watching a soccer game at 2 in the morning. And I was like, huh, this is interesting.
Yeah, I saw that too. It was years ago. I was in New York staying with my wife's cousin, and we were there at this place, and then someone knocked on the door and said, "Hey, how you doing?" It was like early, like 2 in the morning. Yeah, I'm about here to watch this soccer game. What? So he came in there and just that's what he did. And so yeah, it's a big thing. But also a lot of those soccer teams and games overseas, I think they have their own kind of streaming type of services. So to
Mhm.
your point, if there's a way to integrate that to this three-headed monster bundle, if you will, I think that would be huge. I think they're thinking through all that, man. But I think it's very ambitious to try to launch something in the fall. Another angle someone said was that this is smart by Warner Brothers and Disney, right? Because number one, they don't have an exclusive streaming type of service to provide sports like CBS and NBC do, Paramount and Peacock.
Yeah.
So this is smart to do that. So that way now they can always, go after these sports rights a little bit more aggressively because these sports rights is the right to display the sports on your streaming channel. It's getting more and more expensive, right? And a lot of them by themselves, we already know they're bleeding red. Don't have any money because they spend all this money on content that no one wanted to watch on TV shows and movies on their streaming services. So now they need to come together and hey, we'll bid for NBA. Yeah, you're charging us $10 billion a year or whatever to stream these games, but we can afford it because it's all three companies coming together. Interesting to see. I know we don't talk about sports too much, but I'm fascinated by how we're going to watch sports. People were pissed, though, be
Yeah.
honest with you, about the Peacock when they did the playoff game on NFL.
Uh-huh.
People were like, "What the hell is this?" They were upset, man. The Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs played on streaming service. And the rumor is there's going to be more games right next year for that. So they're just going to try to train the populace that the future of sports is going to be on something you pay on a monthly basis. And that's really what we're going.
Yeah. Did you see there were a lot of mock-ups done for speaking of sports, just getting it into something that's not cable TV. Did you see the Apple Vision Pro vision for racing? And they did a racing demo, but there have been VR demos of other sports viewing experiences out there. I don't know if you've seen any of those.
No, I haven't. No. Were they good?
They were excellent. I don't know if you remember, like with baseball, they used to have these websites where you could basically just see the little lights and all the numbers on the side of the screen, and the lights would tell you who's on what base, and you'd see all the different numbers and everything running around. They were like these little widgets you could have in your website so you could watch things, and it was really cool. So, okay,
Wow.
you just be doing your work and watch things in a little widget on your website, and that kinda really didn't go too far. But now with the Apple Vision Pro, if you're watching a game, you can jump down to crowd level. You can change camera positions like you're back up in the stands. And then not only that, you can look at a screen like you're watching the game on a screen, but then you could be pulling up little stats data from the characters like trading cards. You could look at from F1 racing, you could look at a big overview of the track and see the little Mario Kart heads running around the track to see who's in what place. There are a lot of programmers and developers really wanting to capitalize on this next level of sports technology. And it's all available. Like all this data is available. They've been tracking the locations and positions of characters, the ball, the puck, and all this other stuff for all this time. It's just not out into the public technology sphere as an API, meaning something you can program into and get. But I am really thinking that there's going to be a big play, and hopefully it makes a big splash because I really would like to see that type of technology improve the whole sports game.
Yeah, we'll see. We didn't really go into the vision. Did we talk about Vision? Yeah, we did talk about Vision Pro
Mhm,
last podcast. Still beta product, basically. The reviews are in.
mhm.
Very expensive. You're gonna spend $3,500 for Vision Pro, you might as well went to the game. So we'll see. It's one of those things that price point's got to get a little bit lower to make it worthwhile. And then also the app developers have to enhance the sport experience more. But I think you sent me something about the T-Pain concert experience that looked like, and so, yeah, it's got promise, but like I said, it's still, I don't think it's there as people think it is, but we'll see.
Yeah. Oh gosh, man. Fortnite concert, Fortnite halftime show when you're at your Apple Vision Pro. You're thinking everything is everything, then all of a sudden Godzilla comes into the stadium. Oh my god! It's
Oh
the app.
no.
It's the Apple Vision Pro Godzilla.
No, you know
Okay.
what that reminds me of? That did you see Space Jam 2?
Yes.
You remember the whole thing? They're playing sport and they're playing on the court, and you got like everybody. You got Harry Potter going crazy. You got all these
Yeah.
different IP characters popping up, just doing
Yeah.
crazy things in the stands. That's what we're coming to. That's what we're getting to. Yes. Oh,
Exactly.
yeah. I don't know if that's exciting to me when it comes to sports watching. I'm watching the game, and we got a character from some Wahoo from Tom and Jerry over here. hitting somebody for come on, guys. Let's stay focused on the game.
Unless you're Taylor Swift.
There
Oh, Imma tell you,
you go.
my mother watched sports way more than my dad did, and she didn't even understand most of the games that she was watching. It was phenomenal the way she watched sports, but so that whole side of things exists where it's
Oh
like,
yeah. Oh yeah. They've done studies on this. Black women are notoriously over indexed when it comes to sports relative to their population. So they watch way more sports than you would believe, especially older black women. They get into those games, man. So I don't know. Maybe they just like seeing young things on the court. I don't know, but or the field, but it's a thing. It's a thing.
it's a thing. Alright. So what's Ryan Coogler up to?
Oh man, Ryan Coogler, man, the great director of Creed and Black Panther, man, him and Michael B. Jordan are concocting something, man. They're concocting something. And this is good. This is a little Black history story. Looks like Ryan Coogler wants ownership on his next movie. He managed to get a lot of film studio business executives upset because he's trying to do something that hasn't been done a lot. He's basically looking to have ownership rights for his next movie. Rumor is it's going to be a vampire type genre movie. And so basically the goal is he wants to secure ownership of his film as part of the deal. So basically it's something where after 25 years, he'll get access to the movie for himself and his heirs. And this is rarely, rarely done unless you bring in your own money, like a Matthew Vaughn, who did the Kingsman series, or Quentin Tarantino, who's just Quentin Tarantino. You very rarely, even Christopher Nolan doesn't ask for ownership of his movies because you got to think these guys are building up these streaming services and this IP. Think about Harry Potter, right? They just want access to that whenever they want to go back into the well and, for instance, maybe re-release Tenet, right, without asking the permission of the director, right? And so Ryan Coogler is saying, "Yeah, that's fine. You guys can have it, but after 25 years, I want my masters, right?" And parlays in the language of music. And basically, then now I can use it, my heirs can use it as an asset that can be either sold again or licensed off to streaming service, or maybe having the original characters used as they see fit in different type of processes. I don't know. And but the problem with that is they're paying Ryan Coogler to make the movie. They're taking all the risks, right? Ryan Coogler, all he's doing is directing it, and so we're agreeing with the idea, but they're giving him all the money to do that. So it was a flop. They'll be like, we spent all that money and we got to give you ownership later. Oh man. So I think this is
Yeah.
interesting concept. What do you think about this from a business strategy standpoint? You're more the entertainment guy. Would that incentivize you as a creator to know that eventually this is something I'm going to own? So I'm going to put my best stuff in here.
No, that's a terribly great incentive. In fact, the best creatives at any studio that I've ever seen, they usually have some thing that they want to extract or get from a property. And the more ownership you have of it, the more important it is to you. There are certain parts of Red Dead Redemption that I will take extreme pleasure in, no matter how sad the game is or how great the game is. It's whatever. I'm like, yeah, I want that part to be great because I was in there doing X, Y, and Z, and I see it every time the game gets re-released or replayed. I'm like, wow, that is still my technology in there doing its thing.
Mhm.
So when you're talking about the level of ownership, that takes it to the next level where you're really trying to create legacy. It's not only something you owe to yourself, it's not something you owe to the job, it's not something you owe to the studio. You start to get into this legacy things where it's, oh, this is really yours, man. And I'm when I legacy, I don't just mean creating something that people want to see and that will last a long time. It's you've got it's this artistic idea of I'm making my mark in the world and it's known as mine. There's not this thought in the back of my head where MGM is going to come in and make James Bond plushy dolls that I don't approve of. That's not going to happen.
Yeah. I like that aspect of it, just trying to have ownership and incentivizing. And then that's power, right? For the future. He's thinking he's not a real estate investor, right? He's not a business owner. He's had his own business. His assets are his ideas and his art. And so to have ownership for his heirs, that's awesome, man. That's very forward thinking. And especially him and Michael B. Jordan getting together, it's gonna at least get some eyeballs. And it's smart too. He's not making one of those kind of Fruitvale Station, right? Where it's
Mm.
just this is a serious movie. You need to watch this movie. But it's more, hey, it's a vampire movie. So I'm thinking this is a genre movie. Vampire's gonna be around for a long time. That's smart. He's trying to think, okay, if I create something that's gonna be popcornish, people like the characters. I
Yeah,
got comic books, I got other movies that can make off of this, I got TV shows. My people gonna be eating for decades, right? Yeah, man. Kudos to him, man. Brian Coogler, man. I gotta hang out with this guy, man. He's just a brother from just round the way, man. Trying to make it to Hollywood, and he's doing his thing. Love it.
yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, you want to get into the next one?
Yeah, yeah. Let's knock out a couple of these real quick.
All right, so a couple things showed up in the podcasting world recently, but the big one was Joe Rogan's new $250 million deal. And you might be thinking, wait a minute, didn't they just give Joe Rogan like 100 million for getting on Spotify and being exclusive? Yes, but now they're going to give him 250 million to not be exclusive. That's the short of the deal. There's probably a lot that's going on behind the scenes that we don't know and understand. But yeah, 250 million to keep doing what he does basically and funnel his work through Spotify, but now it's going to be kicked out again to YouTube, Apple Music, um what are the other Amazon. It's going to be kicked out to all the big platforms. And that's new. And you're wondering why do we get paid more for that? DJ Academics, who was also given a bunch of money by Spotify, he had a bunch of insight on this and said, "Hey, listen, but the way they're working it is now that they've got all the product in one place and people have to come to Spotify, what he's saying is that after all this time, they've gotten all the people who are going to convert over to Spotify. They've gotten websites to make Spotify the default podcast link. They have their audience. They have the big group of stable of creators, Joe Budden, academics, Joe Rogan, Michelle Obama was on there at one point. I don't know if she's still on there or not. They have all these creators now creating podcasts. So why would they give that up? They've got the people they need. So now, if we push something out into YouTube or into the podcast space, we can leverage our advertising distribution into those other platforms. So now you talk to the advertisers and hey, listen, people aren't just going to listen on Spotify, they're going to listen on YouTube and Apple Music as well. So we can make special deals with all these other podcast outlets, make ads specifically for them or in a certain direction based on those platforms. That's the play that academics stated was probably happening with this new deal. So, hey, Rogan, if you stay here, do the same thing, we're going to blast you out to everybody else with this new ad structure that we've got on ads and distribution structure. Just keep doing what you're doing, and we'll pay you 250% more.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, they also said they got upfront minimum guarantee to Joe Rogan, plus a revenue share agreement based on ad sales. So he's incentivized to sell more ads to get that going. But now it's brilliant. The rumor, not the rumor, but Spotify is not profitable yet. It's been around for a while. I think they're just close to profitability. So they're just like everybody else, man. They're looking at, okay, how can I use these assets I have and do more with it? And Disney was the same way, or Warner Bros. Discovery when they license out their movie catalog to Netflix, right? So that's why you can see it. Aquaman there and all the other DC movies. Yeah, kudos to them. Business 101, man. Look at your assets and see what you can sell. If it's not nailed to the floor, you can sell it.
Basically. And yeah, also in podcast news, apparently the Jason and Travis Kelsey podcast hit number one at one point. And I listened to it. It's a very sports heavy podcast, but obviously, but just the fact that Tr- Travis and Taylor Swift can cause this sort of little storm of activity that is enough of a storm to push their podcast up to number one in the charts. I thought that was great. I was up in the comments a couple days ago, just reading all the comments of what people said on their episodes. And yeah, it's a lot of non-sports people, obvious Taylor Swift fans in there. Oh my gosh, I love these guys. They're so fun together. What's an extra point? Wow, this is great.
Yeah, the backlash is coming. I'm part of the backlash, man. I feel it.
Uh,
It's brilliant play, man. Whoever came with this play, sports, the Eagles, that's who Travis, that's who, what's his name? Jason Kelsey plays for. They just were in the Super Bowl not too long ago against his brother, who's Kansas. So already popular in the football world. If you watch sports, you already knew who they were and respected them. So fine, they created a little podcast, which a lot of these sports guys are doing now, a great deal. And Kansas City was doing okay in football. But as soon as Taylor Swift came in there, man, and she came at the right time because she had a movie to promote, it does reek of just this corporate synergy that
Yeah.
got bigger than even they imagined, right? It's okay, let's just do this, see what happens. And it blew the hell up. And so they both were like, I guess
Yeah.
we got to keep this going. So now the rumor now it's gotten to a point where now, Mr. Bitch, obviously she's in Japan right now. She's gonna fly. We're filming this right before the Super Bowl. She's gonna fly there to watch the rest of the game. And this big whole global, they're probably gonna have someone tracking her plane to make sure she arrives there on time. And then the other rumor is a lot of Trump supporters are upset if there's a conspiracy saying that she's going to come out and announce it to go vote or go vote for Biden. And so there's a whole shenanigans around that. So basically, she can sway geopolitical outcomes
Yeah.
just by getting on the plane or saying something as simple as go vote. And so that's a lot of power, man. I saw that from some movie or something. Oh, Malcolm X. You remember in Malcolm X, the Nation of Islam were there at the hospital. And he said, we just want to make sure he's okay. And they said, yeah, he's okay. And he just put his finger up and he pointed and they all turned to the left and
Yep.
walked out. And someone said, no man should have that much power. And I'm like, no woman, no celebrity should have that much power. So it's going to be interesting to see how this
Yeah.
turns over time. But I can't hate the game. I may hate the players a little bit, but I can't hate the game. I can't hate the game.
Yeah. My mom would be eating this up. She would, yeah. All right. So I guess to round us out, we got a few social media shenanigans going on. I'll just run through them real quick and we can talk back and forth. Tucker Carlson interviewed um, Putin over on X exclusively. I think it's up now on his website as well, but I'm sure no one visits his website. They're all going to watch it on X. Monique and Shannon Sharp had an interview on Club Shay Shay. It's looking like messy podcasting again. Everybody's up in arms about what Monique said. Now, who's going to be next on Shannon Sharp show? That's what everybody's thinking. I don't know. I don't know if he ruined or blew up his brand with this one. Kanye West releases an album that was pretty much marketed only on Instagram, which was odd. Usually he jumps around to a couple different places and you'll see him doing a lot of different stuff. But this time he just kept posting stuff to Instagram, deleting it, posting, deleting, posting, deleting, posting. And suddenly it's album release, listening party at a stadium. And a bunch of people showed up. And it's like, wait, it's here? It's here? And yeah, I looked up in the morning today, a new album promoted like exclusively on Instagram on my phone. It's okay. And Walmart is they're trying to keep us down by not releasing the Snoop cereal. Snoop Dogg and Master P have a cereal together, and it appears that the Post company wants Honey Bunches of Oats to sell more than Snoop cereal. Any thoughts on that? Because we're running out of time, but that's some stuff.
I know. CO conspiracy, man. They don't want Snoop out here getting this guap, this. Oh no. See, they try to cut me off, man. They try to cut me off. They don't want Snoop to get this cereal guap, man. Big cereal is out for Snoop. But anyway, yeah, let me a couple of things. Tucker Carlson. I literally just Googled this and looked it up. You told me about it last night. I checked it out a little bit. But the rumor is that's a doppelganger. That's not really Putin. So that's the rumor now. So it's just
Oh Lord.
there's nothing sacred in it, the social media streets, man. And you can do something, you can have someone's face talking all that stuff, and people call cap all day. So I don't know, man. It's one of those things, but Carson, I don't know. What's he doing, man? And then Monique, man, messy. She's always been messy. And I get some of the things I believe is legit and she's got a true gripe. But it's getting to a point where it's just, oh, come on, Monique. It's everybody hurt you. You know what it's like?
It
If
ain't
if you
funny.
meet an asshole, if you meet an asshole today, meet an asshole tomorrow, meet an asshole on Thursday, the way maybe it's you're the asshole, right? It's getting to a point where it's like everybody done something wrong to her. And so her and DL Hughley are going on this big back and forth about who said what and when. It's just this is getting dumb. I don't know. Shannon Sharp, what do you think? Shay Club, you say it's you think that might be that she might kill this format because I don't know. He may have had his chance to get somebody else, Steve Harvey or somebody else, but now I think I don't know. Monique may have damaged that a little bit. What do you think?
I think at this point he needs to get somebody, or he needs to score a big interview like right now. That's not based on the messiness. If he scored something with a Michelle Obama interview. It's, "Oh,
Mm,
wait, what's this? Oh, you mean the guy with okay, this is interesting. This change of pace. I'll check in." And you need to hit hard with something that much more not even interesting, but that much more attention grabbing and serious if you want to pull somebody back from the edge of all this messiness he's doing.
great,
Not
man.
him, but he's bringing onto the show.
Yeah, I think it's fine when you had Cat Williams' anomaly, right? 60 million views and it's funny when it happened. But unless he could get one of those guys that he talked about on it, like a Kevin Hart or something like that, and get out of that, man. Do something else. I agree. All right, Mr. Benj. I think we're gonna end it here. Everyone, thank you again for listening to the podcast. We do this every week. Please subscribe and comment at Show versus Business on X, YouTube, and Instagram. Listen to us at Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Go check out our website, Show versus Business. All right, Mr. Benj. Have a good one.
Peace.